ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by talking about trust. It's the currency of every relationship, the foundation of everything meaningful we experience in life. We give it freely to those we care about. But here's the thing, when that trust is broken, it doesn't just fracture the bond, it fractures you. The truth is, betrayal hurts. It's not just a moment of disappointment, it's a wound that digs deep. The moment someone shows you who they really are, who they are capable of being, it's not a mistake, it's a choice. And I want you to understand something: a second chance doesn't undo that choice. It doesn't erase the hurt, it just extends the cycle. I get it though. We all want to believe in redemption, we want to believe people can change. But here's the harsh reality: you are the one who has to live with the consequences of their actions. You are the one who gets to decide if it's worth the risk of letting them in again. And your peace, that's not negotiable. Your peace is something worth fighting for, something worth protecting. There is incredible power in moving on. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. You don't have to stay in a place where you're constantly looking over your shoulder, waiting for the next betrayal. Because every time you choose to let go, you make room for something greater, something healthier, something more deserving of your time, your energy, your trust. Listen, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that people can change. But here's the truth: actions speak louder than words. People will say whatever they think you want to hear, but it's what they do that matters. And if the actions aren't matching up, if the promises don't hold weight, then it's time to walk away. Don't get trapped in the cycle of false hope. It's so tempting, right? We keep thinking this time will be different, but more often than not, it isn't. And if we're not careful, we end up draining ourselves of the very energy we need to move forward. I want you to know something: you don't need anyone's approval to make the decision to protect your heart. You don't need anyone's permission to stand up for your peace. Trust yourself. Your instincts are telling you everything you need to know. Your value is not negotiable. Your boundaries are not something to be crossed. So here's the deal: you have the power to shape your future. You have the right to decide who gets a place in your life and who doesn't. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away, not because you're giving up or because you're giving up, but because you're choosing to invest in something better, something that respects you, that lifts you, and that helps you grow. Let go of the past. Embrace your future. Don't give them a second chance, not because they don't deserve it, but because you do. Trust is something we give freely, without hesitation, to those we believe in. It's the invisible thread that ties us to the people we care about. It's the quiet foundation of every meaningful relationship, whether it's between friends, family, or the people we love. When we trust someone, we open ourselves up to them, we give them a piece of our hearts, a piece of ourselves, and in return, we expect them to honor that trust, to protect it as if it were their own. But what happens when that trust is broken? It's like a stone thrown into a calm lake, sending ripples that touch every part of our emotional being. The thing is, once trust is shattered, it's never truly the same again. No matter how much we wish it would return to its original state, it doesn't. It changes. And it leaves us questioning, was I wrong to trust them in the first place? Here's the truth: when someone betrays your trust, they're not just hurting you in the moment, they're teaching you something. They're showing you what they are capable of. And that lesson, however painful, is a chance for growth. We can't undo what's been done, but we can decide how we move forward. We can decide how we guard that trust moving forward, who deserves it, who doesn't. The challenge isn't in what they did, but in how we handled the aftermath. It's not about becoming bitter or holding on to anger. It's about protecting your peace and knowing that you don't have to give someone another chance to make it right, because your heart, your trust is too valuable to hand out carelessly. You see, trust is a gift, a rare, fragile gift, and once it's broken, it takes more than words to rebuild. It takes more than promises, it takes time, it takes action. And if someone has shown you that they can't honor that trust, no amount of apologies or remorse can undo what's been lost. You don't need to hold on to the hope that things will be different. You have the power to walk away, to move forward and never look back. In the end, you must always trust yourself more than anyone else. Trust that you are worthy of respect, that you are worthy of loyalty, and that you are capable of recognizing when it's time to let go. The strength isn't in holding on to people who hurt you, the strength is in knowing when to say goodbye. Betrayal hits us on a level deeper than anything else. It's not just the hurt of being deceived, it's the impact it has on who we are, on the very way we see the world. When someone we trust breaks that trust, it's not just an action, it's an emotional and mental wound that cuts deep, far deeper than we might expect. We give a part of ourselves to others when we trust them. We make ourselves vulnerable, believing they won't betray us, believing they'll treat our hearts with the same care we've offered them. But when that trust is violated, it's like a crack forms in everything we thought was solid. The weight of betrayal isn't just about what was taken from us in the moment, it's about how it changes us. It's about the doubt it plants in our minds, the second guessing that follows, the questions we start to ask ourselves. What did I miss? Was there something I should have seen? Why did I let them in at all? It shakes our confidence, leaving us wondering if we'll ever trust again. And maybe, just maybe, it leaves us questioning our own judgment, wondering if we were wrong to believe in people at all. But here's the thing, the weight of betrayal is not meant to break you. It's meant to teach you. It's meant to show you that you are strong enough to carry it, but also wise enough to know when to put it down. It's heavy for a reason. It's heavy because it forces us to reckon with what really matters, our peace, our boundaries, and our worth. We don't need to carry the weight of betrayal forever. We don't need to let it define us. We can take that pain, learn from it, and choose not to let it dictate how we live or love moving forward. Because at the end of the day, betrayal isn't just about what someone else did, it's about what you do next. Do you allow that pain to shape you into someone who fears the world, who builds walls so high that you can't let anyone in? Or do you allow that pain to become the fuel for your growth, to remind you that you are worthy of something better, something real? The weight of betrayal doesn't have to drag you down. It can be the push you need to rise stronger, to choose better, to trust yourself more than anyone else. It's a reminder that you can be hurt, but still stand tall, that you can suffer loss, but never lose your ability to move forward. Your peace is more valuable than anything else in this world. We often think that peace is a luxury or something that just happens, like a momentary calm after a storm. But peace isn't something we wait for. It's something we fight for, something we protect with every ounce of strength we have. In a world that's constantly pulling at us, demanding our attention, filling our minds with noise, it's easy to forget how crucial peace is. But when it's lost, when that sense of calm is taken from us, we realize just how essential it is for our happiness, our clarity, and our ability to move forward. Think about it, without peace, nothing else matters. We can have everything: success, wealth, recognition, but if we don't have inner peace, it all feels hollow. No achievement, no person, no accomplishment can replace the serenity that comes from within. And once we experience true peace, we begin to understand that it's not just about being free from external chaos, but about being centered in ourselves, knowing who we are, what we need, and what we're willing to accept. So when someone or something threatens that peace, it's time to make a choice. We have to ask ourselves, is it worth the cost? Is the person, the situation, the relationship worth giving up the calm that sustains us? Too often we allow others to take up space in our minds, allowing their negativity, their unresolved issues, their drama to invade our thoughts and emotions. We let them disturb the quiet we fought so hard to maintain. But in those moments, we must remind ourselves of our worth. We must remember that we are the stewards of our own peace, and no one else has the right to steal it. Protecting your peace doesn't mean building walls to shut out the world. It doesn't mean avoiding conflict or running away from challenges. It means knowing where to draw the line. It means recognizing that your peace is non-negotiable. It's about learning to say no to the things that don't serve you, no to the people who drain you, no to the circumstances that undermine your well-being. It's about choosing yourself, choosing your mental and emotional health above the opinions or expectations of others. And here's the thing, when you protect your peace, you're not just protecting yourself, you're creating space for better things to come into your life. You're making room for relationships that lift you, for opportunities that inspire you, for experiences that help you grow. When you make peace a priority, everything else aligns. You don't settle for less. You don't accept anything that takes away from the person you're becoming. Because peace isn't just about avoiding conflict, it's about embracing the strength it takes to create a life that reflects who you truly are, free from the influence of those who seek to disturb your inner balance. Your peace is worth fighting for. Protect it fiercely. And in doing so, you'll find a life that's not just lived, but lived well. Growth comes from letting go. It's one of the hardest truths to embrace, but also one of the most powerful. We often think that growth is about adding more knowledge, more experiences, more people in our lives, but real growth often requires us to shed what no longer serves us. It's about clearing space, making room for new opportunities, new lessons, and a new version of ourselves. And yet, there's a resistance to letting go, isn't there? We hold on to things, to people, to past versions of ourselves because we're afraid of what might happen if we release them. We think we're protecting ourselves, but in truth, we're limiting our potential. When we hold on to the past, to relationships that drain us, to experiences that hurt us, we anchor ourselves to a version of life that no longer exists. And as much as we want to believe that holding on will make us stronger, it often does the opposite. It weighs us down, prevents us from moving forward, and keeps us tethered to a reality that doesn't allow us to grow. True growth comes from the courage to let go of what we've outgrown, whether it's a toxic relationship, a job that no longer fulfills us, or beliefs that no longer align with who we are becoming. But letting go doesn't mean failure. It doesn't mean giving up. It's about choosing something better, choosing your future over your past, choosing your peace and your potential over staying stuck in what's familiar. The pain we experience from letting go is real, but it's also a sign of change, a sign that we are evolving. Every time we let go, we create space for something new, something that has the power to transform us, to help us become the person we are meant to be. Letting go is also about accepting that we can't control everything. Life is full of uncertainty, full of things we can't predict or hold on to. But that uncertainty is where growth happens. It's where new opportunities are born. When we release our grip on the familiar, we open ourselves up to the unknown, to new experiences that will push us, challenge us, and shape us into something stronger and wiser. We learn that the only thing we can truly control is our willingness to evolve, to adapt, and to let go when it's time. The beauty of letting go is that it's not a one-time act, it's a continual practice. Every step we take, every choice we make is an opportunity to release what no longer serves us, whether it's a limiting belief, a painful memory, or a relationship that no longer nurtures us. Each time we let go, we make room for something more aligned with the person we're becoming. And with every release, we become more connected to our true selves, more in tune with our desires, and more capable of creating the life we truly want to live. So don't be afraid to let go. Trust that what you release will make space for something better, something that will help you grow in ways you never thought possible. Letting go isn't about loss, it's about growth, about becoming the best version of yourself and embracing the journey that lies ahead. Growth comes from letting go. I know it sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest things we'll ever have to do. We often think that growth is about gaining more experiences, more knowledge, more relationships. But in reality, real growth often begins with the act of release, the courage to let go of what no longer serves us. It's the ability to step away from things that drain us, things that weigh us down, and things that hold us in place, preventing us from becoming who we are truly meant to be. The hardest part is that we become attached to these things, whether they're people, habits, or even old versions of ourselves. We hold on because it's familiar, because it feels safer to cling to the known, even if it's not serving us. But what we don't realize is that by holding on, we limit ourselves, we build walls around our potential, and we refuse to move forward because we're afraid of losing what we've become comfortable with. The truth is, to grow, we need to be willing to release our grip on everything that doesn't align with the person we're becoming. When we let go, we create space, we make room for new experiences, for new lessons, and for opportunities we couldn't see before. We make room for our truest selves to step forward, for the version of us that has been waiting for the right moment to rise. That moment is now. We have to understand that sometimes the hardest part of the journey is not about moving forward, but about leaving behind what no longer fits our story. Letting go isn't a sign of weakness, it's a declaration of strength. It's the decision to prioritize your peace, your growth, and your future over staying stuck in what's familiar. I know it's tough. Letting go feels like a loss, but it's not. It's a necessary part of the process. Each time we release something, whether it's a toxic relationship, a job that doesn't fulfill us, or a belief that limits us, we make room for the kind of life we've always dreamed of. And in doing so, we become more connected to our own potential. We begin to see ourselves in a new light, stronger, more capable, and more free to step into the life that is waiting for us. We can't control everything. Life is unpredictable, and change is often uncomfortable. But change is where growth happens. The more we try to control and hold on, the more we block our own progress. The moment we let go of what we can't control is the moment we open ourselves up to the possibilities we never even dreamed of. Growth thrives in the unknown. It thrives in the space we create when we trust that we are capable of more than we ever imagined. Letting go isn't just about moving on from the past, it's about allowing the future to unfold. It's about trusting that what lies ahead is worth the release. Every time we let go, we make room for something better. Every time we choose to leave behind what isn't working, we invite new opportunities, new lessons, and a new version of ourselves to take shape. And it's in that space of release that we find the strength to truly grow, to become the best version of ourselves, and to embrace the future with open arms. Letting go isn't easy, but it's the most powerful thing we can do for ourselves. It's the key to unlocking our true potential. And once we begin to let actions speak louder than words, it's a phrase we've all heard, but how often do we truly understand the depth of its meaning? Words are easy. We can say anything, promise anything, and make the world believe we have the best intentions. But words are just that, empty sounds unless backed by real tangible action. People will tell you they care about you, but it's their actions that reveal the truth. They will tell you they're there for you, but it's how they show up when it counts that matters. Words are simple, but actions are everything. Actions are the reflection of our values, our integrity, and our character. The truth is, we all have a choice in how we show up in the world. We can talk about who we want to be, the things we want to achieve, and the people we want to become, but none of that means a thing until we start doing. And not just doing anything, doing what we say we'll do, doing what aligns with the person we claim to be. Because when it comes down to it, actions don't lie. They speak the truth of our intentions. They show the world who we truly are, whether we're ready for them to see it or not. Think about it. How many times have we heard someone say, "I'll change" or "I'll do better"? And how many times have we watched those promises slip away without action? It's not the promises that change us, it's the consistency of the actions that follow those promises. Words are just the beginning. They create hope, they start conversations, but it's what we do after that builds trust, builds relationships, and builds real, lasting change. If you say you're going to support someone, then show up when they need you the most. If you claim you're going to pursue your dreams, then take the first step, no matter how hard or scary it may seem. It's easy to talk a big game, but it's the doing that matters. Our actions define us far more than our words ever will. Think about the people in your life who have left an impact on you. It wasn't just what they said, but how they made you feel, how they showed you that they cared, how they helped without being asked, how they lifted you up even when it wasn't convenient. Their actions built trust, earned respect, and left an impression that words could never create. The same goes for us. The way we show up, the things we do when no one is watching, the choices we make when no one is there to applaud, that's the real measure of who we are. Words are powerful, but they are also fleeting. They can be forgotten. But actions stay with us. They leave a mark, a lasting memory that can't be erased. So the next time you're faced with a decision, think about the actions you want to take. Do you want to be remembered for your words, or do you want to be remembered for your courage, your integrity, your consistency, and the way you lived your truth? We have the power to make our actions speak louder than anything we could ever say. And when we do, we create a legacy that can never be undone. False hope is one of the most insidious traps we can fall into. It creeps in quietly, often disguised as optimism, a gentle whisper that tells us to hold on just a little longer, to wait for something to change, to believe that things will get better even when the evidence says otherwise. At first, it feels like a lifeline, a way to cling to something, anything, that offers a glimpse of a better future. But the reality is that false hope doesn't lead us to growth or progress. It keeps us stuck in cycles of disappointment, giving us just enough of a taste of possibility to keep us invested, but never enough to bring real change. The danger of false hope is that it makes us believe that something will happen on its own without us taking the necessary action or making the hard choices we need to make. It allows us to rationalize inaction, to convince ourselves that if we just wait long enough, things will fall into place. It keeps us in situations we know aren't right, relationships that are unhealthy, or careers that drain us, because we're holding on to the belief that maybe tomorrow will be different. But the truth is, tomorrow doesn't change anything unless we do something about it today. Waiting for change without actively pursuing it is the trap of false hope. It gives us comfort but robs us of our power. False hope keeps us in a state of limbo, where we become passive observers of our own lives. We wait for others to change, for circumstances to align, for the stars to magically rearrange in our favor. But what we often fail to realize is that we hold the power to create our own change. Hope is not about waiting for things to improve, it's about taking action, even when the road ahead is unclear. It's about trusting ourselves enough to make the difficult decisions and to have the courage to move forward, knowing that real progress comes from within, not from waiting for the world to shift around us. Sometimes false hope stems from fear, the fear of accepting that something isn't working, the fear of letting go of a dream that no longer serves us, or the fear of stepping into the unknown. It's easier to hold on to hope, even if it's false, than to face the reality of a situation. But living in that kind of hope is like being tethered to a broken anchor. The truth is, false hope only keeps us from embracing the full potential of our lives. It's time to break free from the illusions that hold us back. Real hope isn't about waiting for things to change on their own. It's about taking responsibility for our own journey, making bold choices, and trusting ourselves to create the life we deserve. Hope isn't passive. It's active, it's powerful, and it's rooted in the belief that we are capable of more than we often give ourselves credit for. So let go of the false hopes that bind you. Embrace the reality of what you can control. Take the reins of your life and step boldly into the future that you have the power to create.